You ever have that one neighbor who just can't mind their own business? Well, in our neighborhood, her name was Karen. Karen lived in a perfectly average two-story house at the end of our street. Neat garden, freshly painted shutters, the whole suburban dream. But behind that picture-perfect exterior was a woman who treated the neighborhood like it was her personal kingdom. Everyone knew her routine. Early mornings, she'd be watering her flowers. But really, she was scanning the street. Afternoons, she'd pretend to walk her dog. But really, she was circling houses, looking for violations. And evenings? Well, evenings were her favorite. That's when she would lean over her tall wooden fence, peeking into backyards like she was running surveillance for the FBI. One day, my wife and I were grilling in our backyard while our daughter played with sidewalk chalk. Suddenly, I caught a pair of eyes over the fence. Yep, it was Karen. Her forehead wrinkled, lips pursed like she had just bitten into a lemon. I said, "Evening, Karen. Can I help you with something?" She snapped back. "Do you know your daughter is drawing on the sidewalk? That lowers property values." I nearly dropped my spatula. Sidewalk chalk? Property values? Are you kidding me? But that was Karen. Complaining about kids being kids. About lawn decorations being too tacky. Even about delivery trucks parking for more than 5 minutes. She had this twisted idea that our cul-de-sac was a luxury resort and she was the manager. But here's where it gets wild. A few weeks later, I started noticing that no matter what I did, mowing my lawn, trimming hedges, unloading groceries, Karen was always there, peeking, watching. Sometimes she'd be crouched down, pretending to pull weeds. Other times she'd stand on tiptoe behind her fence, phone in hand, ready to snap pictures. My wife joked, "We don't need a security camera. We have Karen." But it stopped being funny when I realized she was doing it to other neighbors too. One evening, my buddy Dave from across the street knocked on my door. He was frustrated. "Dude, Karen just reported me to the HOA for having a basketball hoop in my driveway. She literally took pictures and emailed them. Turns out, she wasn't just peeking. She was documenting. She had a whole album of violations, from slightly overgrown grass to kids leaving bikes out overnight. That's when we, the neighbors, decided enough was enough. We held a little get-together, no HOA, no formalities, just a bunch of tired residents in my backyard. Everyone had a Karen story. Mrs. Johnson said Karen yelled at her grandkids for blowing bubbles too close to her fence. Another neighbor said Karen banged on his door at 9 p.m. because his porch light was too bright. So, we hatched a plan. Nothing mean, nothing illegal, just poetic justice. The next Saturday, we all decided to give Karen a taste of her own medicine. As she leaned over her fence like clockwork, she found herself staring back at us. Every neighbor who saw her would stop what they were doing and wave, big, exaggerated waves, like she was the star of the show. If she peeked while someone was gardening, wave. If she peeked while kids played, wave. If she peeked during trash pickup, yep, everyone waved. It drove her insane. You could see it on her face. Instead of catching us in the act of some imaginary crime, she became the one caught, over and over again. One evening she yelled, "Why are you all staring at me?" And old Mr. Thompson from 2 doors down shot back, "Because you're always staring at us." The whole street burst out laughing. Even the kids joined in. From then on, Karen couldn't peek without being noticed, called out, or waved at like she was on stage. Finally, she stopped. The fence that used to be her lookout tower? Now it was just a fence. Her binoculars went back inside, and she started keeping her blinds closed more often than not. And the neighborhood? Well, it actually felt like a community again. So the next time you catch a Karen peeking into the neighborhood, just remember. Sometimes the best revenge isn't fighting back. It's making her realize that everyone sees exactly what she's doing. Moral of the story: if you spend your life spying on everyone else, don't be surprised when the whole neighborhood starts watching you back.